opère na divine guidance I faut son fu ala cui se fait en lan tarawan you fu bandul su.
Hi, I'm Patricia McNair, your host of Divine Guidance with Patricia. If you are bursting to embrace and strengthen your connection to your divine guidance, your whole being, this is the show for you. Join me the first and third Wednesday of the month at 9 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com. Are you ready to discover the amazing gift of the universe that is you? On Divine Guidance with Patricia, Spirit and I will trigger you to embrace and validate the light that you are. On my show, I will bring you thought-provoking, inspiring messages designed to ignite a spark of spiritual awareness, the first step to becoming a whole being. Join me on Divine Guidance with Patricia and discover your gifts and awaken your true sense of self to embrace and empower your spiritual, mental, and emotional well-being. Divine Guidance with Patricia starts now. Hey, welcome back to Divine Guidance with Patricia. Matu Ra, your voice. Haven't talked in a while. Hopefully we can get together soon. I know you're well. There's no doubt about it. Matu Ra is the voice bringing in the soul of Divine Guidance message. Thank you, Matu Ra. Okay, so here we are today. Oh my gosh, I was just telling Emily. Emily's a new producer with me, and I love her energy. So thank you, Emily, for being here. And the reason Emily's here as well is because our producer, Jacob, congratulations to you and your Mrs. Jacob. You had a beautiful baby girl. And thank you for being here, little one. Look forward to seeing what you bring here for all of us. So thank you and congratulations to Jacob and his missus. Okay, so that's a news update so far, except for it is going into May. I can't believe it. Like, wow, where did this year go? There's so many beautiful things happening right now. Can you feel it? Are you a part of it? Are you helping to bring this in? Because, wow. For my being, I've really paid attention in the last couple of weeks to mini disclosures. Everyone's waiting for all this big disclosure, but how many of you have been involved lately of smaller disclosures happening to give us the experience to assist when the big disclosures happen? It's amazing. And the confusion and the chaos is clearing. And that's why I wanted to bring up the sovereign soul topic today, is because a lot of people actually need to be validated that they are actually climbing a new layer, a new level of their sovereign soul. And I didn't want it to get missed because it's quite an achievement. Now, does the sovereign soul mean that you're already ascended, everything's done, everything? No, believe it or not, no. A sovereign soul, I'm going to take this in bites and chips today. I'm going to take this in. First of all, when we think of sovereignty, what do we think of? Think of somebody who can stand in their truth, somebody who is not compliant to things outside of their well-being or whole being, as I like to use. Somebody who knows where they're going and just travels that road to get there. Sovereignty is also being responsible for yourself. If you're a sovereign country, then you have your own rules, your own independence, and your own things that you do for your country, your nation, and then back to self, sovereign self. So there's a lot of things happening right now with the ability to discern what's taken place. even if you don't have the full clarity of it, you have that, oh, this doesn't feel right for me, or I'm not comfortable with this. And so, first of all, when Patricia, I feel uncomfortable, I need to take a look at why. Okay, how is that affecting me? Because that's a trigger. Do I have to work on what anything connected to this information or experience? Is there something that I still need to heal? I may need to remember. I may need to research it. I may need to experience it. I may, all those things. Okay. So first I take it back to me. Okay. If I'm triggered, there's a reason. And is that reason something I need to clear my own being first before I take that experience any further? So it's the rights and the responsibility that we have as beings. Uh, and the other thing that's going on right now is the aspect of free will. Now, free will is great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, free will, I'm not going to argue with the creator. However, I do have the knowing and the understanding lately that I've always said my free will is following the will of source, of creator, and that will of that creator that is part of me. Because we break off from the creator as parts to bring in certain things wherever we travel in the universe. And right now, I just happen to be here on Earth. Hey, how you doing? So my connection is with the planet that I was birthed upon, first and foremost. If I had been on Mars, I would have been connected to what was going on with that planet. So we are microcosms of the planet that we birth in of. And so I have a connection with Earth. What connection do I have with Earth? What is going on? Why did I choose to be born on Earth at this time? And that question, because I came in without the veil, that question was predominant for me at a very, very young beginning. And some people, like I say, everyone wakes up when they're supposed to wake up. There's no right or wrong with it. There are many restraints and things placed on beings that they placed on themselves in order to awaken or to activate or to whatever at divine timing. So I've never looked at someone who wasn't fully awake or aware as someone less than my being. I just thought it was really interesting that they're not. And I wonder what they're bringing when they do. And so my passion for that being is an inquisitive, because I'm very inquisitive, was always, I wonder what they're bringing. Not, why aren't they awake? What does it? I have nothing to do with their contract with Source and their reason for being here. That's not mine. And it's not mine, certainly, to judge. Okay, so moving along, there is such a big thing today called the huge awakening. Okay, there's an awakening. There's an awakening on so many different levels. And so, with that awakening, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean that everybody has to wake up, or else they're not going to cross the finish line? What if there's a finish line for those who aren't awake? And I choose to say aware more than awake. So let's say you're somebody that's not aware. Does that make you not a sovereign being? Well, there's a question, isn't it? Because I do understand from what's been shared with me by clients and other individuals that the concept or the idea of being sovereign means that you got all your shift together. Like, you know what you're doing. And you know what? No pun intended, but many of us who have a lot of shift together don't know what we're doing. And we're okay with that. We're okay with that because we're open to following our journey, remembering who we are and standing in that. So another concept of sovereignty that's been thrown around of late is that once you're sovereign, you stand in it, you stick with it, and that's it. And you continue in that sovereignty, okay? And nothing's going to bar you or change you. Well, in my experiences as well, just when I thought I was open, the universe and creator would ask me to open more. So would that not be the same for a sovereign being? Would that not hold true, that a sovereign being doesn't stop growing, remembering, or doing, or exploring, or experiencing, or healing for that matter? I would tend to lean to say that, okay, sovereign souls and beings still are here doing what they're guided to do, doing. And in the mix of all of that, having to deal with, let's just say those that may not want sovereign souls on the planet. Let's just leave it at that. Or those misunderstanding sovereignty as ego, or whatever labels others want to put on it. Okay, so my concept of sovereign soul now also includes being open, and experiencing what we need to experience, not only for ourselves, but for the whole. So if as a sovereign being, I don't comply or follow, and yet I stand in my holy light, am I untouchable? Well, I should be. One would think that I could be untouchable. But if I get touched, or if I get altered, or if I get caught in an experience that I'm supposed to go through without my knowing, does that make me less of a sovereign soul? Or does that allow me to be a sovereign soul that is here to follow what they need to do, or is here to create the experience for a divine purpose? So yeah, I would like to get into that aspect of the sovereign soul right after we take this first break. And I'll see you back here. We've got more. Thank you. Welcome back to Divine Guidance with Patricia. What an honor to be here and to share. For me, it's about quality, not quantity. So anyone that does tune in and listens to my show, I thank you. I absolutely thank you. And I appreciate you. So I was going on about, that's me, I just go on and on. I was going on about the sovereign soul not, or being touched in some way. And so in walking any type of spiritual path or any type of path of love, judgment is a tool that we place down, and we pick up discernment, observation, and what is my perception of things may not be somebody else's, and that's okay. Everyone's seeking approval. And so what I'm saying is a sovereign being can have things happen in their experience, and that can affect many beings around them, and that may have a divine purpose and intent. See it through to the other side. When the light is shining on everything, we can see more of the everything. So as a sovereign being, and I do try to strive to be a sovereign being myself, doesn't mean we're perfect. Doesn't mean we're not going to have things or experiences that we're going to bring forward or be a part of that will affect many. And just know that as a sovereign being, you chose to be a part of that experience. There's no blame or shame. There's no finger pointing. You chose to be part of that experience. And had you known you were going to be part of that experience, maybe you would have balked it. Maybe I would have balked it. Uh, had I known some of the experiences I've been asked by Spirit to stand in and be there. Or, I was way off base. When you do share Spirit, you share it to the best of your ability and you bring through as much of the divine as possible. And when you're sharing it with other people, the effect of bringing in that divine is not only the responsibility of the person bringing in through the information, but the person who is sitting there receiving it. Their energy, their intent during that experience is also a factor of the whole equation, right? So many times, if things are not exactly as the receiver wished or wanted or thought or perceived, then that result of that experience is theirs. That's what I'm saying. It's theirs. And they have the sovereign right to experience it, perceive it, choose it, discern it, and do with it as they will. So all beings, in my knowing, are sovereign. They're born, everyone's born sovereign. Do they have the awareness of their sovereignty? I believe that people do throughout their lives when they make a stand, or throughout their lives when they choose not to be involved, or throughout their lives when they say, no, that doesn't fit for me. I'm not going to be a part of that. Or also when they make their choices. Yeah, I think women's rights needs this, and I'm going to stand in there. And so that's a sovereign choice. That's a choice of their own belief or knowing or awareness or experiences. To me, that is the sovereign part. And the sovereign part coexists with that person's dominion, what that person's free will, that person's choice. So I want to get back to the free will just a little bit, only for the section that I would like to bring in. Yes, Creator allowed us to have free will in this lifetime. And so I found myself, I don't know, about 4 days ago, going back to the Creator and saying, okay, well, I love the fact that we are sovereign and we have free will. But can we take a look at what free will meant in the divine universe and what free will means on the planet we live upon? And so I truly feel that a lot of beings do not have that sovereign free will because there's a lot of control and programming and misguidance by those who would like to control, misguide, putting it bluntly. So if that's the case, and so we were given free will by the Creator, but it was interfered with because we now only have a limited free will based on the knowledge and the knowing. Where will we be in 6 to 8 months down the road? I look forward to that. I look forward to that. I look forward to the fact that the full depth of sovereignty and free will, that's going to be handed. It's going to be handed over. And I guess the reason I wanted to do the show today is because that's coming. That knowing, that awareness, that deeper knowing of being a whole being, a sovereign being, yet part of the whole oneness, but the uniqueness of our own knowing, our own wisdom, our own gifts, our own sovereignty, and our own choices of free will going forward. Where the choices of free will are going to be absolutely different. Different. We're not going to have to gauge what we can or cannot do because we have to work a 9 to 5 job, what we can or cannot do because we have to follow a society or system of health and well-being, what we can and cannot do in raising our children and guiding them in their lives, what we can and cannot do if we are absolutely not okay with the suffering of anybody. Let's just breathe that in for a second. That was a whole mouthful, actually. So where do you feel your free will, your sovereignty as a person is going to escalate to? Maybe over the next 3 or 4 days, take a look at that. I invite you. With all of these things that I'm aware will be lifted in my family, my community, my country, my world will be freer than we've ever known. We'll have the ability of transparency, integrity, sharing, being that being inside that we always knew we were, but we just didn't know how to bring it out. And there was no space to bring it out. And so we kept it in here. And we let little sparkles of light out because you didn't want to show too much because, this wasn't the place for it. Well, now, my beautiful, beautiful beings, this is the place for it. And even before it's not the place for it fully, it is the place for it now. I invite you to feel it. I invite you to take it within your heart, your soul, all that you are, your whole being. I invite you to ask and allow your emotional body to come into balance with it. Your mental information, connecting with your physical brain and your spiritual mind, closing that gap of the mental plane that so many beings not of the light have had control over. Just spiritual mind, physical brain, working in unity closes that door to that frequency and that interference. Try it for the next few days. And feel the ability to start creating the timeline you want to live in. And we'll get into timelines after my next break, but I'm going to continue with this for a moment. So sovereign being is not a being that cannot be interfered with. So there's no shame or blame if you are a sovereign being and you are interfered with and you come through it. You come through it with the awareness that that has been done and you recalibrate it. And you bring that knowledge out, transparent, open, and just allow anyone who is part of that experience to do the same for themselves. If you are a sovereign being, and you are, and I am, and they are, and you are, a sovereign being has no issue. So we lead the way as sovereign beings to saying, oh my goodness, okay, I need to clear this up. And yeah, I'll take my responsibility, but I am not responsible for all of it. No, I'm not. I will take my responsibility and let's all do the same. So inviting others to take their responsibility, not blame or shame, but responsibility, and go with it and spark and light up and stand in their sovereignty that, okay, I've been duped, or okay, Yeah, that experience wasn't that great. Now let's go deeper. Let's go deeper together. Let's go deeper and find out the purpose and intent. What was accomplished by this? Instead of standing in, oh, the what ifs, the she coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and I was so wrong, and blah, blah. That's not necessary. What is necessary and what is needed is to love each other through this and light up the purpose and intent and make it happen. All right. I'll be right back with more on the sovereign soul. Thank you. Hi, welcome back to Divine Guidance with Patricia. So we're talking about the sovereign soul, and it sounds like a message. And I guess, I'm receiving the message through as I'm talking, as I always do. So I usually go back and I watch my show to see what I say sometimes, and get my own messages. So we've covered the no blame, no shame, no whatever. We've covered loving everyone else who went through that experience with you, for you, by you, or against you even. And we covered that so that we love each other through it, and we light up the purpose and intent, and we go from there. And usually you'll find, especially if someone who is aware of their sovereign soul is in the mix of any experience, that's where it will tend to go when the discovery and disclosure comes forward. And then the cleansing, the regrouping, and taking the divine action needed takes place after that. And you'll usually find that anyone involved in that experience becomes more solid with each other through kindness and compassion, understanding and respect of that experience. I'm a really firm believer that we no longer need or have the need of dual experiences. I don't need to know I don't need to have darkness to know there's light. I don't need that. I don't need that. I look at the sky every night and there's beautiful stars there, right? I need and I request from my whole heart and soul, from my whole being, to have positive experiences moving forward for any lessons, any remembrance, or anything that is needed to guide me. I choose to be guided by divine love, by divine grace, and by the holy light. I no longer deem my being needing, requesting, requiring, or inviting any duality of dark or light. I am light. I stand in light. I learn in light. I love in light. And I am honored to learn, remember, embrace, and gain more light. Thank you. Okay, that came through. So, sovereign soul in the mix. A sovereign soul in the mix means that somebody who actually can stand in their truth. Whatever that truth is this morning may not be the same truth tonight. So it's not a rigid mind, and it's not somebody who stubbornly clings to a knowing or a stance or a label or a idea or even a knowing, because knowings, if I know and have the knowing of something, that's not going to change. However, I may receive more knowing on what I know. And if I just cling to the fact that I know and I have the knowing, I'm not open to receive a deeper knowing. Sounds confusing when I say the words out, but it feels so easy and simple inside. My mind's eye and my golden divine eye and my heart and my light being all connected. It seems very simple. Sometimes getting the words out takes a lot. So being open, being open to remember more, being open to take, and the way you stay open is to set yourself in divine action and motion. Don't get too comfortable in one spot. There's so much to experience. There's so much love to receive and give and share and have and know and become, that standing still. And I don't mean, okay, you've got to be 24/7. No, I'm not saying that. Standing still spiritually, standing still soully, standing still in your whole being, and getting too comfortable with that can stagnate what you're here for. And now I know a lot of people say, oh, we come here to learn, or we come here to experience the creator, to have an experience through us. But all of those are right. We come here to remember. We come here bringing a gift for all others and ourselves. We come here to enhance light on this planet, in this planet, around this planet, and in and through all things of this beautiful planet. It's never yes or no. It's never this or that. And I guess that's why I really don't resonate with the duality aspect, and I haven't. Although, I haven't fully set the timeline until the last 3 or 4 years that I no longer needed that. So I'm not claiming that I am a know-it-all. It took me a while to relearn and remember how to set that timeline up, that I didn't need that any longer. And so now things that happen that are uncomfortable in my life are part of being alive and me experiencing that part, but not me having to go through that part. I can experience it without putting and pulling myself in there. And that's part of my sovereign soul. That's part of me working on my sovereignty as a soul being, as a spark of the creator, as all that I am. Am I perfect? No. No, sir. Ask my husband, he'll tell you. That laugh wasn't that funny, but ask anyone. I never claim to be perfect, but I am sovereign. I will not comply. I will not follow. I'll take information from any and every experience that I go through and discern what is actually mine, and what do I love myself with from this experience. Because it's not only about loving other people. A sovereign being knows that taking the love from any experience and loving ourselves through it and loving others through it, you don't miss yourself. There's no martyrs in this lifetime. None. Okay? This is a new way of bringing the golden age in, and there are no martyrs. Martyrs have been used and abused in such a wrongful way, in my humble opinion, as they walked upon this earth, giving all of their being in the duality energy. And I think, oh, wow, that kind of sparks true in my being right now, is that there's no martyrs because there's no need for the duality anymore. Visit that, maybe next show. I don't know. Yeah, that's really cool, actually. I love when things hit me like that. So being sovereign is, for my being, and there's so much more I could add to this. Being sovereign is honoring me as much as I honor those outside of my being, honoring me by connecting with my whole being, connecting with my spiritual mind, my physical brain, connecting with my heart, my light being, the energy, connecting with all that I have experienced before I came here and what I have experienced while I'm here, and pulling it all together. Good, bad, or indifferent. Taking a look at it. Truthfully, to the unknown self, be true. Truthfully. I'm making the choices to do the work, to raise frequencies of experiences higher, and letting go of those that no longer serve me, that I use as a rubber chicken to beat myself up with. It's time to let go. Keep the flow and continue to glow. Let go. Keep the flow and continue to glow. Wow. So sovereign soul may not sound that important to others, or it's been something that I've been reflecting on through more than one experience in life over the last 3 years. And I think if you take a look at your own path over the last 3 years, with everything that's been thrown at us in the changes that took place upon this earth, you may see that actually triggered a part of your sovereignty, part of your sovereign soul, part of your sovereign being, to say, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, no. Let me take a look at this. Something's not right here. That doesn't feel right to me. And I think that the sovereignty of souls has been totally sped up by what's gone down on this planet in the last 3 years. So in a way, all the chaos, all the hurt, all the everything has had but a divine purpose as well. And if we can find the divine purpose in any experience that dissolves, removes us, encompass us, not to feel, be, and connect to our sovereign soul. If we can see out on the other side the divine purpose and go with that, with all that we are in love, stepping forward with those who can do the same, well, I think then we have a sovereign group. Then we have solid foundation to work with. So we're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back, and I'll do a summary, and we will take a look at what comes. Thank you. Welcome back to Divine Guidance. We were talking today about sovereign soul. And what I'm realizing is that so much that has come through during this hour, and it's gone by quick. I personally need to share that I did not put all those dots together before I came on the air. I don't use a script. I allow whatever needs to come through. So this is going to be an interesting episode for me to also look back and to see what points were all put together, because many times we have information inside of us, and some do not have another person to actually bounce things off with and to talk with. And so a lot of that information and that knowing gets missed because of not being able to share it. And so you can talk to the creator, you can talk to the plants, you can talk to the trees, but it's just not the same as bouncing it off another being that is open and doesn't have judgment of your being, but can be honestly and say, yeah, no, Trish, really, where are you going with this, Trish? And let's just say I have some beautiful beings in my life who do that, and I totally appreciate them. There's a thing. If I would like to leave the sovereign soul thing in play with you, I would like definitely to give this. If everyone could see who could hear, if everyone was aware of this sovereignty, I'm not sure what kind of comment to make on that. I think that it would be very, very empowering for all of us. But the fact that not everyone is aware of the sovereignty up to this point in time has allowed and permitted that experience of loving people through things. And even those that are sovereign souls are not untouchable. Okay? So those of you who are taking a look and saying, oh, well, that person, should have saw that coming, whatever. No, please. Many times I go through some things in my own life that I don't get all of the information. And as a matter of fact, sometimes I'm onto it and I know I'm not to ask right now for whatever. Okay, so this is an experience that is going to be for something that I'm not aware of. So, okay, let's do this to the best of my ability. Do my feelings get hurt sometimes? Yeah, they do. Do I go on a pity party? Very rarely. Plus, very short. But I do a good job of it. Sorry. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but at the same token, the higher purpose of being a sovereign soul is not to say, hey, I'm here and you're not. It's to actually be able to assist others to empower themselves in their own sovereignty. That's where the real love and the real work begins. Not judging, allowing. I'm working through this experience that has duped a lot, or any experience that dupes a lot. Well, I'll rephrase that. Allowing that experience to have divinity. Where's the divinity in that experience? Where's Creator in that experience? Where's Spirit in that experience? Heck knows, it felt like they weren't there during the experience. One thing I know, they'll be right there when you are looking for the divinity of an experience. When you can choose to step out of all the other things that actually don't matter and look at the divinity of the purpose and intent of that experience. That's the magic. That's the love. So sovereign soul to me is someone who is absolutely built upon a foundation of their rights and responsibility for being, whether it's an oversoul, a soul, a light being, a spirit, a personality, or soul. Standing in those rights and responsibility and not being a follower. No one needs to follow another person. I don't want anyone following me. If you want to stand beside me, absolutely. If you want to come and have a session for me, I'm not above you. I am able to share that frequency, that energy with you that you are asking. That's it. And when I need to know how to cook banana bread, I need to go and ask somebody who knows how to cook banana bread. There is no put down in asking for assistance. And there should be no put down to someone who asks for assistance, no matter what it is. Sovereign soul. So maybe ask yourself, your being. I'm asking my whole being, what do I need? Or even do I need? If I do need, and I do want, and I do wish. I'm not saying you have to. If you choose to. What do I need? How may I assist my whole being to be sovereign? Because no one knows the answers any more than you. That doesn't mean that you don't receive information from things outside of your being. You absolutely do. But you automatically feel if it's for you or not. You know? Don't let somebody else decide for you what's right for you. So you say, oh, I heard this show and Jane was talking about this and George was talking about that. And what do you think? And they go, oh, yeah, don't listen to that show and da-da-da-da. Okay, so you've asked them what they thought. You've got their opinion. That's part of your discernment, but that should not be the be-all, end-all of your discernment. Sovereignty is taking all the information and deciding. You deciding. Follow your whole being. Follow your divine guidance. Follow your knowing. Work on calling in the whole department of confidence, the angels of trust and faith. Call them all in for divine assistance. Just allow them to know that you're ready. You're ready. You're ready to have this knowing. You're ready to experience this. You're ready to remember this. I'm ready to know what it is to be a sovereign soul. And yeah, they'll lead you, you'll be guided. Because, as you're asking for these things, you have to really, truly, you don't have to, sorry. It is good to know that you're going to start. Okay, let me explain it this way. I never ever heard the word filibuster in my life. Never heard it. Never, ever, ever. I think I was about 28 years old. And I first heard the word filibuster. Never had heard it before. For the next 4 or 5 days afterwards, that's all I heard. The word filibuster. So it's really unique how the universe brings forward what you're remembering, what you're setting in your timeline is brought forward to you in so many different ways. All of a sudden, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Pay attention, thank, and discern. So thank you for joining me today on The Sovereign Soul. You can reach me at divineguidance.earth. You can take a look at my website. Feel free. I've got a blog there if you want to make some comments. If you want to make some comments about the show, there's forms there on how to be a guest on the show. Fill them out. Love to have you as a guest. There's forms there for me to be a guest on your show. Fill them out. I'd love to chat and talk with you. I have been approached by a company called Magic Mind, who are wanting to be a sponsor for my show. So I'm very grateful to look into that and to communicate with these beautiful beings who have come forward. So with that, I say thank you for coming in and joining and listening and sharing your time with me. And much love and respect and appreciation. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing anything in the life, thank you. And I love you. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Divine Guidance with Patricia on TransformationTalkRadio.com with me, Patricia McNair. Tune in next time to explore more challenges that can help you achieve your whole being. I know we are all capable of truly being whole, and with a little empowerment, anyone can access an entire universe of knowing that is just waiting to be explored. For more information about me and my services, visit divineguidance.earth. That's divineguidance.earth. See you next time, where together we focus on solutions for the whole being.